In other news, AI solution firms Urban SDK just announced it secured a $65 million growth round. In a statement, the company said this will help fuel its efforts to help more than 300 cities across 40 states effectively respond to critical safety concerns and create smarter city operations. I sat down with co-founder and CEO Drew Messer, who shared how he'll be allocating the fresh capital. Check it out.
Well, I think fundamentally is continue to do what's working. Today we've been adding somewhere between 20 and 30 government customers every month. And in our industry, that's kind of seen one of one as far as growth and adoption. And so we're going to continue to do what's working. But at the same time, we're going to continue to invest in our platform. We've got to expand our use cases to cover the breadth of responsibilities that our customers carry every day. We also need to scale up our team so we can take this solution to every state, every county, every city in the country. And what we see is this capital is a signal that we're going to continue to define this particular category and win this category, the system of action for government. And what we want is that our market sees this capital as long-term capital. They don't need another short-term experimentation. What they need are durable partners who can stand the test of time and walk alongside them as their responsibilities continue to grow and their expectations to continue to grow from the public sentiment.
So what service is Urban SDK providing?
So let's start with our mission. Our mission is to help civic leaders face the complex reality of the world that we live in today. And if you think about it, our cities are tasked to manage complex regulations with limited resources and a rising set of public expectations. And the truth of the matter is those cities have been operating with an outdated tool system and using backward-looking information. And so our approach to solving this problem is to modernize that tool set and use forward-looking information. So Urban SDK indexes the physical world from sources such as satellites, connected vehicles, and IoT devices in the physical infrastructure. And what we do is deliver that as a system of action. So our civic leaders have the capacity to manage these regulations and responsibilities in an efficient way with reliable information. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's going to allow them to make better budgeting, policy, and operational decisions that will improve and impact our local communities.
And I understand a big part of that technology that you're using is AI. What are some of the use cases? What is it doing?
That's right. So let me start with our customers first. They're at the front lines of every one of our local communities. They're the patrol officers, they're the traffic, transportation, civil engineers, they're the city planners, the city managers, the elected officials. And they're using it for a variety of different use cases, all tied to regulation and compliance. Some are using it for traffic calming and traffic enforcement. Some are using it for school zone safety planning. Some are using it for long-term infrastructure planning projects. Some are using it for emergency response. And what we're really doing is replacing a legacy process that manually collected this information. It was costly, it was time intensive, and it only gave them about 10% visibility into their entire road network or jurisdiction. And what we do is replace that with a platform for 10 cents on the dollar, or 10% of the traditional cost. And we deliver that in a way that allows them to manage those regulations in a more effective way.
So if I'm a user and I'm a state patrol officer and I'm logging on to your platform, what are the types of things I'm doing on your platform?
You're able to quickly assess where is speeding, where is too much traffic, where are historical accidents, what may be a problem in the future with this particular event or seasonality. So it's giving them the ability to understand where to allocate resources to get ahead of problems instead of being reactive. We're trying to help them be proactive. And it's the same thing with public works departments. They're trying to address infrastructure issues so they can make the roads safer. And so we're giving those historical patterns and trends and helping them understand if you make certain decisions here or certain decisions here, here are the consequences to those decisions. And ultimately, our idea is that if we can continually make better decisions and measure those decisions and outcomes, we're going to continuously and perpetually improve that local government system.
And what are some of the results that some of these municipalities are seeing?
Well, I think the number one result is they are seeing a reduction of fatalities on the road year over year. And I think that's primarily due to the fact that they know exactly where to focus their time, energy, and resources to address those most pressing issues. They're also seeing financial savings. Like I said earlier, we've got about a product that gives them a solution for 10 cents on that traditional dollar, and it saves them an enormous amount of time.
All right, and you say that Urban SDK provides a system of action for local governments. What does that mean?
So if you look back in our market over the past decade or so, they've mostly focused on digitizing information into what they would call systems of record. And while we believe that was the right thing then, we also think now is the time to move beyond that. It's not just good enough to know what the issues are or where the issues are. We need to now introduce and adopt a scalable solution that allows us to execute the right decisions. So when we say a system of action, what we really mean is a single operating platform that delivers data, execution, and measurable outcomes. So these civic leaders have the ability to understand what's actually happening in their communities, what are the issues they need to prioritize, and then when they think about the options in front of them to address those issues, what would be the potential consequences, to those decisions. And then once they choose a path forward, we allow them and help them execute that decision effectively and measure the result. And so what that does, it gives us this continuous process of improving that local government decision process and outcomes in that local community.
Thanks, Urban SDK CEO Drew Messer, for that interview.